are the biggest casualties in the cabinet changes. Charles Keter being moved from the Plum Energy Ministry to Devolution as Labour Minister Simon Chelugui loses key departments of social protection and pension and senior citizens, which will see that particular Labour Ministry's budget cut in order to enforce these changes. Let's delve deeper into these particular stories. And in studio, I'm joined by a youthful panel, by the way. Right here physically, Muthioria Kariara, who is the party leader of the great nationhood party of Kenya. It's great to have you with us, and good morning.
Good morning, Jesse. It's a real pleasure to be here. I hope you're going to have a very bold discussion, because Kenya at the moment requires for every citizen to be bold and to speak without fear about what's going on. Especially the youth in the country, who are termed as the majority. As I mentioned, it's a youthful panel, and someone whose youth matters is quite close to her heart. Gloria Uroba joins us via way of Zoom, youth policy analyst. It's been quite a while. Good morning.
Good morning, Jesse. Thanks for having me. It's been a moment, eh? It's been like a couple of weeks.
Well, it's great to have you. Thanks for making time. Let's begin with the latest changes in the cabinet. And many might say this was expected. There have been rumors about it. But I'd just like to delve deeper into that particular angle that the Daily Nation has taken. Gloria, I'll begin with you. The DP's allies are the biggest casualties in this particular cabinet reshuffle. What's your reaction in terms of the efficiency going forward, even as you get closer and closer to the 2022 general election?
Thank you, Jesse. I don't think this cabinet reshuffle is about efficiency or about actually delivering on the Big Four agenda or Vision 2030 or anything. As you know, definitely we are gearing up for a very highly contested election come in the next 10 months. And yes, of course, there is this very, let me say, huge thing about making sure that some people don't get into office. You know, the Deputy President, William Ruto, is definitely on the forefront in terms of the leading candidates. And I think, yeah, these are the repercussions. So those who seem to be affiliated to him are definitely going to have to carry the cross in the next couple of months. There's going to be a lot of intimidation. There's going to be a lot of... this is actually not going to be the last cabinet reshuffle. I believe come February next year, when most of the party members will be allowed to now transfer to their preferred parties, we are going to see another cabinet reshuffle. Unfortunately, as I said, it has nothing to do with making government more efficient. It has nothing to do with actually delivering the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. But, you know, we are spectators in this thing. We are seeing whether they're going to deliver anything. Again, it's just 10 months. As much as you would like to go in as a minister of a certain ministry and make changes, you know very well that as government is currently very bureaucratic. So I doubt that much will be achieved in this few months. But I would say, even as the president is continuing with this reshuffle, because there will be another one come February, come March next year, perhaps he would consider, if he has to leave a legacy of some sort in terms of youth engagement, perhaps he should consider also bringing the youth on board on ministerial positions, even if it's going to be just for 3 months or 4 months or 6 months. That would be something to look out on, because for now, I don't think there'll be much difference in terms of government efficiency.
Gloria, so you read politics in the cabinet reshuffle. Kariara, what's your take on this? Because the Standard goes big with this particular quote. They say, but the elephant in the room that might have triggered the exit of the CS and the PS is the task force report that President Kenyatta wants implemented within 3 months to cushion Kenyans from the high cost of living. So it seems to be all to do with that particular batch of recommendations from the task force, hence informing this particular reshuffle. What do you read from the reshuffle?
I read politics. The fact that there is a report to be implemented is neither here nor there. The people who are going to implement that eventually are still the same ones who have been left behind, the ones we call watu wa mkono. If you look keenly, you'll realize that William Ruto is a marked man, and whoever is aligned to him has been paying a price for being in the deputy president's camp. It's a political season. I cannot fault the president for taking the action that he took because it's within his powers. If that's the way he sees he's going to deliver better services to Kenyans, so be it. But truth be told, you look at the departments that were moved around and you realize that it did not happen in the places where the president has his henchmen. It's only happened in places where the deputy president had his people, so to speak. So, yes, we can hope that the promises that were made about the price of electricity going down by about a third, we hope that will happen. But the reshuffle just goes to show that Kenya, to some people, is like a kiosk where someone can wake up one day and without any proper reason move around the furniture. That's basically what happened. The Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta cabinet has been a lackluster one. And even in the very penultimate stage, we still do not see him pull a rabbit where he's going to do something he has not done before. I wish he would have gone for firing, and after firing, appointing people who form part of the majority of the Kenyan population, and that is the youth, the young people. They would infuse new ideas that we are yet to see in his cabinet.
Okay, but others might argue these changes might show that the president is keen in one or the other in terms of the cabinet secretaries executing his policies even as his term comes to an end. So you don't read any move in terms of perhaps bettering the cabinet's efficiency. Muthiora?
No, I do not. I read mostly politics. What's happening here is angling towards the next election, and we know the ministries that hold sway, the ministries that we can call them big money ministries, and that's where he touched mostly. There is a promise that was made yesterday. That's what we should hold the president to, that within the period promised, the price of electricity will come down. And not just that, there were changes in the Ministry of Energy, and I'm hoping that the price of petrol will also come down.
Okay.
And not just that, we've seen cabinet secretaries get publicly involved in political matters. In a reshuffle, such as the one that he did yesterday, he should have taken action against those who went over the line, because like he promised when he formed government, members of cabinet were not supposed to engage in political matters like we have seen.
All right, well noted. Gloria, over to you. Perhaps let's shed more light on this reprieve for Kenyans. It was a promise that the cost of power is set to go down by a third in the next 4 months or so. Interestingly, the Bonchari Member of Parliament, who was the former boss of EPRA, that's Pavel Oimeke, poured cold water on these recommendations, and he's quoted saying this: "The recommendations are unrealistic and unachievable, putting into consideration the factors that advise on the cost of power and the time frame allocated." So from where you sit, is this a reprieve for Kenyans who are facing high cost of electricity, or there's devil in the detail? You know what they say.
I think we should not celebrate too early. And Oimeke might be right, because we know that there are a lot of challenges in terms of how this sector, the energy sector, has actually been structured. We know for a very long time that it has been monopolized. There's absolutely no business justification reason why we do not have other players other than KPLC in the distribution of power. There's absolutely no reason why we do not have, let's say, third parties who are coming in to introduce innovative ways of Kenyans accessing energy. But we know that the industry has been monopolized for a very long period of time. And when someone comes in with a promise that is, I feel like it is very far-fetched in terms of, we're talking about 4 months, just implementing the policy, just actually getting the industry players to understand that if they were talking of profit margins that were of a certain level, we are cutting that into half. We are cutting that into, we are reducing it to, say, 15% or whatever. I think one of the things that our president has been known for, and I say this referencing a lot of past experiences, is promising things that he probably has a good intention to deliver, but actually not understanding that there are so many players in whichever industry that is. When you look at the Big Four agenda that was fronted to us, if you just look at manufacturing, if you look at food security, where we were saying that by a certain year, we should have actually allocated thousands of acreage of land just to ensure that we are, producing, we are having a mass production of certain crops. Nothing of it happened, We've had the president also come out and promise on certain levels, talk about when we had the KEMSA scandal, and we were told that in, I don't know, was it 100 days or less than how many days, we are actually going to see those people, brought to book, but nothing happened. We are now going into maybe 2 years or something. We've seen him promising that the youth are actually going to be empowered economically and through various platforms, including the Kazi Mtaani, and nothing of that has happened. So, I mean, for me, not to say that I don't believe in the intention of it. I do believe that our president has a very good intent in terms of actually moving this country to the next level, but intent is just intent, So if you're being pragmatic, as Oimeke said, it's impossible for you to say that in the next 4 months, Kenyans are actually going to feel that their bills have dropped because of this promise that has been put out because of this announcement. And also, let's remember that we are 10 months into the next election, so there's going to be a lot of promises coming from the current government, coming from aspiring presidential candidates. So I think we should take it with a pinch of salt. And I think maybe the questions we should start asking is why do we have such high rates of power? It's like someone saying we are having a sale on Tuesday, and so maybe this jacket that I'm wearing on Tuesday is going to be 50% off. But if the initial price was unrealistic, if the initial price was, why did we get there and I would say it's because we've monopolized this industry for so long. Then it doesn't matter even if you give me 70% discount or if you bring it down 70%, because at the end of the day, we should actually push that this industry is not monopolized, and we have other players coming in, and we have because competition is good, and the end results of healthy competition, particularly in the industry of energy, is that the Kenyans will benefit from having different options. If I don't want to get my power from KPLC, then perhaps if there's another player, and that competition of ensuring that you're always trying to put the client first is good. And that's what we should be talking about. But this 4 months promise, I would say, let's just be keen on what are the steps that are going to happen between now and that 4 months. See if anything, if there's any traction in that ministry, if there's any actual tangible results.
Okay, well noted, Gloria. Well, that particular work in terms of dealing with the electricity cost will fall under the docket of Dr. Monica Juma right now. Even as we speak about promises, the president is set to fulfill that particular promise of cheaper power that he gave nearly a decade ago when he came to power. That's if these recommendations will be followed through. So allow us to take a short break on that particular note. Still with me, Gloria Roba and Mudhiora Kariara, and we'll get to delve deep.